So I got a few things that I've come across that I found interesting. If you want to share my screen.
I certainly can.
All
There we
right.
go. And this is the way we like it.
Thank you, sir. That looks perfect to me. So first thing that I came across actually is a new post from today, I believe, from Rudy. Looks, well, maybe yesterday. Anyways, there is a new MDM enrollment version 6.0. So in usual Rudy fashion, posted a nice deep dive on what that means. I did happen to catch in here that there may be some updates around how virtual TPM and cloud PCs actually go through hardware attestation. That is, today they really can't in Intune. So version 6 may be, as Rudy says here, a step forward in addressing that issue. So Rudy did a little bit of a deep dive, a little investigation, as he normally does with these things. And I say a little, but with a deep dive, we know that it's actually quite a bit. So I thought this was cool. Just some upcoming real cutting edge stuff here from Rudy over on the Patch My PC blog. Recommend checking this out. Also saw a blog post from Peter Vanderwoode around getting started with quick machine recovery. So this is just a more recent version or a more recent functionality that helps you recover Windows devices a little bit quicker. And you write a nice, well-documented blog post here on how to actually set that up on your devices and utilize it. Very cool. Also came across this announcement related to Security Copilot, more specifically Security Copilot in Intune and Entra. Been out for a while now, since mid last year, but it is now general availability. I still haven't had too much. I've seen plenty of demos and videos and stuff on this. I haven't gotten to play around with it too much myself, though. Have you had the opportunity to do so, Johan?
I have not.
Unfortunately, it's a little costly for a lab, unfortunately, but hopefully someday we get the opportunity to do that. Nevertheless, if this is something you're using or your organization was looking at, but we're waiting for it to go GA, now is that time. And then this last thing I came across was quite interesting. Little funny, but also interesting for what we do. So there was this, I think I came across this on maybe like the sysadmin subreddit, but I just want to read the headline here. Mercedes-Benz expands collaboration with Microsoft to boost in-car productivity with enhanced meetings for Teams app, Intune integration, and Microsoft 365 Copilot. I never thought that I would see the day that we could manage our devices, but Johan, I really think that you and I might need to get a new test machine. I'd be willing to share it. We could have some sort of schedule, but
I'll bring it up with management.
But sure enough, I mean, I read that headline and I was like, no, Intune integration, there's no way. There it is. There's the paragraph for it. So I found that quite interesting, to say the least. I'm curious to see the first person that ends up utilizing this or testing it. Please reach out to Johan and I, because we got to hear about it.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
But yeah, that's what I've come across.
It's funny. Many years ago, I was presenting a couple of sessions at TechEd at the time, with the 7 embedded, and I found out there was a company called Digital Beverages that was selling a martini mixer that ran Windows 7 embedded. And I was trying to get my hands on one of those. I think that's pretty brilliant for deployment, but that didn't work out well either. So, still cool though.
A boy can dream.
Boy can dream. Yeah. All right. But I have a couple of things. Let me share my screen here.
All right.
Boom, boom, boom.
I like these comments in here real quick. National Safety Council will not approve of in-car meetings, and Michael and Zach, pleased to know that this is a problem I won't ever be able to afford.
That's amazing.
No managing your Mercedes-Benz S-Class with Intune.
Isn't there a famous saying? It's how is it? Money can't buy happiness, but it's more
Yeah.
comfortable to cry in a Mercedes.
Yep, I love it.
Anyhow, total sidebar. We need to get back on track here.
Yes.
This is, of course, a very exciting folder. A bunch of ISO files that I'm using for imaging and whatnot. And the ones that are dated June here are obviously media that is refreshed in June. And Microsoft made an announcement just this week around that. And one of the managers reached out and what I thought about it. And I was almost in tears because this is beautiful. This should have been done like 10 years ago, but finally Microsoft are shipping updated apps, not just 6 months old anymore, but like refreshed to the month on the media itself. I haven't had a chance yet to test how much that actually reduces the initial payload. Some of the apps will be basically be outdated within the week anyway, but right now there is a gig payload every time you deploy a new Windows box. And if that one can be reduced to, say, 50 megs, well, I'm all for it. So
you actually wrote about that at some point, right?
Many times I've been over the years.
Thinking of your maybe your 2-pint post that showed how many connections.
Yep, indeed. This one here. It was up on the blog I wrote. Numbers.
Yes, that's it.
So lies and statistics. But yeah, we were trained 23H2 at the time and found out that the initial payload still was around a gig because I was deploying 25 machines and they each total it was 26 gigs. So of course some of that was non-peerable content, but still there was just updates to the built-in components. The image itself was fully patched already. Yeah. So it will be interesting to see how much that changes now when we have a media that is have those built in. So I think I have to redo that test. Of course, this is only for 24H2. So it's a couple of apps here. I didn't see Teams in here. Or that Teams Home, whatever they call it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that one anyway, so wouldn't care too much. As some of you may actually remove some of these apps anyway before deploying. And if you do that, you don't have to update them. But it's really nice to see them in box. It was a great announcement, I thought.
Agreed.
All right. Then, on another note, I was helping out a customer earlier this afternoon, one of the universities here in the country, to add VNC into the boot image so they can do remote management. And I figured I could talk a little bit about that because I made some interesting discoveries, I thought, in the newer versions of UltraVNC. First of all, just finding the downloads, that's an art on itself, but if you click around through the website a couple of times, you'll find it. So I figured we could start there. So ultravnc.com, I can't even type it. This one here. If you go to the downloads link here, that's the one I just added up here, you will have to scroll down. I was like, where are the downloads? Because I start to go through these different links and check the GitHub and whatnot. Like, no, that there are no releases there. But sure enough, when you scroll down, you will find the latest binaries here. And if you scroll down a little bit, there are 2 files I recommend getting. One is the MSI, so you can deploy the viewer through either Intune or Config Manager, whatever you like to deploy MSIs with. And then I recommend snatching the zip, because that has the file that you add to your boot image. So, long story short, you download the zip file, and out of that zip file, let's see here, I put it somewhere here. You borrow this file here, and you copy it to an empty folder. So imagine, for example, that this folder happened to be empty. I have it running, so I need to close it. So this is an empty folder, we can agree. So in the early versions of VNC, when you launch the utility, it always saved an init file in this location. So I was a bit surprised when it didn't. So I started it up. I set the password I wanted to have. And I clicked OK, and I expected an init file to be created. But it doesn't. Even if I check the log file, it says that an init file was created. So if I open this one again, I go to the log, you can see that created config file. There is no config file. By default, it creates it in the registry instead. So to trick it into not run it in, store it in the registry, you need to create an init file yourself. So you create an init file, Ultra, see if I can spell correctly, vnc.ini. You make an admin section, and you say use registry equals 0, and you save it. So now you open the tool again, type in the password, and when you open the init file now, you can see it added a lot of stuff to it, including the password here. It's hashed. I promise you this was not the password I typed in, but it's a pretty basic DES encryption, but it's not easily converted into a password field. And we only use it during the WinP phase here for this example. Of course, you can use it later in Windows also. VNC supports that. But then the only thing that you need to do is basically fire up a virtual machine for testing. I'm going to borrow this one here, a clean snapshot. I'm going to connect it to one of my other networks here. We're going to New York today. So those 2 files you can just add to your boot image, or you can have a script that just downloads them from a web server or do a net use to a file share and downloads them to the device. But they are so small, so I don't really see the harm of having them in the boot image. So at this point, if I open up a command prompt and just connect to that server where I stored my stuff, see it all around this machine, and the user account, super secret. You need to have 2 backslashes in front of the server name. All right, F drive. This would be my temp folder here. Those were the files. So if I create something on my X drive, UltraVNC, and copy those files over to that folder, this would be the equivalent of having them added to my boot image here. And the only thing you need to do is actually launch that thing. And it will be running in the background. You don't see it popping up or anything. So if I know the IP address of this machine here, it's 10.107, I can try to connect to it from the viewer here, except it's going to fail. Why is it going to fail? It's not going to work. I won't be able to even ping that machine. Why is that? Because with P you have a firewall on by default. So you need to disable that firewall. And that is done through a command called wp-util, disable firewall. Now I should be able to ping that device. And now I should be able to connect to that device. If I open it again, type in the password, and now I am connected to that device. Remote access. Brilliant. If you want to do this a bit more fancy, you can have a PowerShell script that launches VNC early, report the IP address and, for example, the computer name up to a web service or dashboard or file share even, create a shortcut so that techs in your company can easily know which machines that are being deployed and, remote into them. But I thought it was a quick little intro to some of the gotchas I stumbled across in the new versions of UltraVNC and how to mitigate that. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you, sir.